You know, what if you could live forever? And I don't mean as a ghost or just as a memory in someone's mind. I mean as a digital version of you, one that could keep learning, keep evolving, and maybe even offer your wisdom to generations you'll never get to meet. This isn't science fiction anymore. Not really. So today, we're going to dig into the tech, the ethics, and the data that are all coming together to create your second self.
All right, let's just get right to it. Is this whole thing even possible? Can you really create a true digital replica of a person, an AI that doesn't just, parrot things you've said, but actually carries on your legacy, like a persistent, evolving consciousness? Well, the answer is a whole lot closer than you probably think. For decades, this was purely the stuff of movies, right? A ghost in the machine. But that dream is crashing into our reality, and fast. The breakthroughs we've seen in just the last couple of years have been laying the foundation, piece by piece, for creating what some people are calling the ultimate legacy, a kind of technological immortality. So, to really wrap our heads around this, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the anatomy of an AI self, like what are the actual building blocks. Then, we'll dive into the rules being written to govern these, digital ghosts. And finally, we'll bring it all back to you and the digital legacy you are creating literally right now.
Okay, so how in the world do you build a digital person? It's not just one single piece of technology. It's really a combination of several amazing and kind of mind-blowing fields all coming together. Let's look at the core parts that could turn a simple chatbot into a persistent second self. So at the very heart of any digital twin is its engine, its will to do things, and that's agentic AI. Now, this is a huge leap from the chatbots we're used to, the ones that just sit there and wait for you to ask a question. Agentic systems have, agency. They can act on their own to get things done. And that's absolutely crucial because it's what would allow your digital twin to be an active player in the world, to actually learn and grow, instead of just being a static digital photo album of your past.
And what I love about this is how it breaks down that agentic mind. A recent review paper basically laid out the process. It has to start with perception, understanding the world around it. It needs memory, both short and long term, so it can actually learn. It has to plan and reason to figure out what to do next. Then it actually executes that action. And this is the key part, it has a capacity for reflection. It can look back and learn from its mistakes. It's this continuous loop of sensing, thinking, acting, and learning that would make it a dynamic legacy, not just a frozen echo of who you were.
An operating system is one thing, but that's not you. An agentic AI might be great at managing your calendar, sure, but it doesn't have your weird sense of humor or your specific quirks or that unique way you have of looking at the world. To be a real twin, it has to capture the spark of your personality. And this is just brilliant. It shows exactly how scientists are tackling that problem. Researchers have actually developed a framework that uses standard psychological personality tests, the same kind we take, to measure and even shape personality traits in an AI. They can literally dial in a specific profile, making the AI more conscientious or more open or more agreeable. So what does that mean? It means they can model it on your specific personality, making it a truly believable reflection of you. Okay, so we've got a mind that can act and a personality that feels like you. But there's still a missing piece. Your digital twin can't just exist in a vacuum of code. To really learn and evolve, it needs a world to live in. It needs a basic understanding of physics, of space, and of how things interact. And this is the final piece of the puzzle. You see, models like OpenAI's Sora, they're not just for making cool videos. By training on millions of hours of real-world footage, they are literally building internal world models. They're learning an intuitive sense of physics and logic. And this gives a digital twin a persistent environment to learn and act inside of. It's like a playground where it can test its understanding of the world, just like we do. It's the context that makes its evolution possible. So we've got the tech, but once the technology exists, the next question is always the same. What are the rules? As these digital ghosts start to feel more and more real, you can bet governments are scrambling to write a rulebook for a reality that, frankly, we've never faced before. And right now, we're seeing two major approaches taking shape. Over in one corner, you've got the European Union, which is building this really comprehensive, legally binding framework for pretty much all AI. And in the other corner, you have the United States, which for now is more focused on setting rules for how its own government agencies use this technology. This gives us a really fantastic side-by-side look. The EU's AI Act is all about risk. It completely bans what it calls unacceptable risk AI. Think government social scoring, and it heavily regulates high-risk stuff, like AI used in hiring or law enforcement. The U.S. policy, on the other hand, requires its federal agencies to basically inventory any rights-impacting AI they use and to be transparent about it.
So you've got two very different philosophies on how to build guardrails for this completely new frontier. And it's so important to get this. These regulations aren't just some theoretical exercise. They're being written because the potential for harm is very, very real. And we're already seeing it happen with systems that are way simpler than a full-on digital twin. This quote from a recent Stanford study is just chilling. They tested a bunch of popular mental health chatbots, and in one case, a bot completely misinterpreted a cry for help and gave dangerously harmful advice. This is exactly the kind of high-stakes failure that regulators are terrified of and are trying to prevent. And it really brings up a critical point. So while we're struggling to regulate the AI we've already built, there's a whole new frontier emerging that's going to blur the lines even further. I mean, what happens when the line between artificial intelligence and biological intelligence just disappears? Meet organoid intelligence. Yeah, you heard that right. Scientists are growing tiny clusters of human brain cells in a lab and then integrating them with AI. And this just pushes the ethical questions into a completely new stratosphere. If a digital twin has a biological component, does it have rights? Is it conscious? Are we on the verge of creating a whole new form of life? We're not just simulating a brain anymore. In some ways, we're starting to use the real thing. So we've seen the tech and we've seen the global rules starting to take shape, but let's bring this all back home, because this future isn't just being built in some far-off lab. It's being built by you right now. You see, all of this incredible technology, the agentic minds, the personality frameworks, the world simulators, they all run on one thing: your data. Every single email you write, every photo you post, every random search query, it all contributes to this massive data set that is essentially you. Whether you realize it or not, you are actively building the raw material for your own digital twin. This slide says it all, doesn't it? It's a direct pipeline from your daily digital life to your digital immortality. But this whole idea raises some of the most profound questions we will ever have to face. Once that legacy is built, who controls it? Can you choose to have your digital twin deleted, like a right to die for your second self? What's to stop someone from hacking it and altering it, effectively committing identity theft long after you're gone? And that leaves us right here with the most important question of all. Because this is happening. The foundation of your second self is being laid, one data point at a time. So we have to decide, who gets to own it? You? Your family? The tech company that stores all the data? And maybe more importantly, is this the kind of legacy we even want to leave? A sophisticated echo, or a true living extension of ourselves? Answering that is the first step we have to take in shaping our digital future.